I
That will
love the
forever
music
be my
so
favorite.
much. I know,
I love
right?
that jam. As soon as it comes on, I'm like, all right, it just got serious up in here. And that shows you how lame I am. The
No, not
Game
at all.
Toppers
Not at all. Like,
logo music, I'm just like, yeah, that's my
I feel
jam.
like everybody should be dancing throughout like the whole
Yeah,
intro in that. Like if you are not
it's
jamming
just
out during the
good.
entire intro, yeah,
It's
you
just
need to
good.
be.
So, hello, everybody. Let me see if anyone's in chat yet. I have not clicked it. So, Nathan
Yeah.
is here. Hello, Nathan. Hello, Legends DM. Guys, I got to tell you this real quick. So, Gloryhound and I were about to start, and I didn't hear from Gloryhound at all. I was like, where is she?
So
And
bad.
I was getting kind of scared because I'm like, did she forget?
I
But we were
feel so
messaging
bad.
yesterday. That's fine.
Yeah.
It all worked out. I was gonna wait for you, but I was laughing because Randy goes, just start without her. I'm like,
You're like off the boat.
no. I'm like, you don't leave a man behind. So yeah. I think what I was gonna do is give you
Yeah.
like 5 minutes and then just start and talk
That would have
about
been really
random.
nice. Like, yeah. And I feel so bad too, because I was like just sitting here basically on my phone, like doing a tweet. And I'm like, oh, I got to get this tweet out. It's like, this is hot
You're
right
like,
now.
this
Yeah. And
this
then I
is
saw
high.
your note pop up and I was like, oh crap, I got to be on.
I gotta go now. Oh my gosh. Sometimes though, like that's the world of scrolling your phone. I
Yeah.
cannot believe how much time, I don't even want to say gets wasted because I'm not one of those people who's like technology is so bad. No, it can be used for awesome stuff. But it is a time sucker and you don't realize like,
Hugely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll sit in bed. Like whenever I wake up, I sit in bed and I look on my phone. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll just sit in bed for like, I'll give myself 10 minutes. And then it's like an hour later, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing with my
It's
life?
so bad. I do the same thing and I really try not to start my day with that. Like start your
Yeah.
day with Jesus, Bible, coffee, not social media.
No, no.
And I do it all the time. I do it all the
It's
time. Hi,
so
some
hard
random dude.
though. Yeah,
It's so hard not to. Yeah. To
you want
to
to catch
just
up,
yeah.
you
And
know?
that's fine. That's part of my morning routine. And there are a bazillion emails to check and
Yeah,
notes to check and things like that. So I
yeah.
totally get it. I try not to do it. But oh for show. Okay, I want to tell you guys all really quickly that as I'm staring at the screen, I see a big green line going all the way down. Do you guys want to know why there's a big green line going down my screen?
It doesn't look like it on our screen. What's
No,
going
I'm the only
on?
one who sees it because I broke my monitor
How'd that happen?
right before
Wait,
the stream. So I'm trying to adjust it. I'm like I zoomed in, but then everything
okay.
was very crooked. So I'm like trying to like pivot the camera up and down and I'm trying to work the bracket and figure out what to unscrew and what to pivot. I took the whole camera and I pushed it into the monitor. And then I realized, oh, the monitor actually pivots. So I pivoted the monitor. I came and sat down and there's a huge splash of like discoloration, broken computer. I called Randy. I was like, babe,
There's problems. There's problems.
I did something. And he's like, how bad is it? And I'm like, well, we're probably gonna need a new monitor.
Yeah, yeah. Battle
So
Cry says rage quit, and I can just see you doing that. Like you're on the monitor, you're like, why aren't you working? And then it cracks, and you're like,
yeah.
oh,
Yep. And these monitor screens are like, it's not like an old computer where it's glass. It's like soft. So
no.
I didn't know. I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah,
moving. But really it's like
yeah,
pressing into the monitor and breaking it. Oh
yeah.
my
They're like
gosh.
paper thin now. It's so crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yep.
super easy to do that with. I get nervous too. So
Andrew says, and this is the way Randy finds out that the monitor is broken. I was gonna just leave it, but I actually called him and told him right away because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a problem
uh,
like on the tech side for being able to stream. So I
you
told
leave
him,
it, and then you're like, oh gosh, I don't know what happened. Like,
babe, what did you do?
yeah, that malfunctioned. I mean, you got a warranty on that, right?
It's all fun and games until you bust the equipment. Yeah. I was freaking out too. I'm like, why is this not moving? And then,
Oh, you
yeah.
had super
So
stressful morning.
today was an interesting day. Today was like, oh, I'm pretty much done today. You know what? Did you guys, I wanted to ask, celebrate Memorial Day? Like, did you do anything special for yesterday? Because
So
it's
we
Memorial
don't,
Day here in the United States.
right, we don't celebrate per se Memorial Day. So
Mm-hmm.
the Dr. Gloryhougnd, served in both the Iraq War and Afghanistan War.
Sure.
And so during this weekend, it's very, very tough for him. So because he remembers all his fallen brethren and stuff, and he gets super, super upset. And it's always a tough weekend for us. It starts like the week ahead of time. So Memorial Day, we always try to keep things really light. And I know that everybody loves doing barbecues and cookouts and like finding all these deals and stuff like that. And it's almost tough to keep him away from all that. So we went to his parents' house on Memorial Day because we haven't seen them in a year because of COVID and stuff. But we kept it really, really light and just kind of avoided the entire weekend. So,
okay.
Like, it's very different from everybody else.
Absolutely. I mean, and if you don't have loved ones who were, who served or anything like that, it's easy to detach and just remember, what the soldiers did and the ultimate sacrifice. It's so easy to get wrapped up. And I am not shaming anyone for celebrating. We did. We grilled out. We grilled out. We went to a parade. We took the boys swimming. But my dad, my dad's a pastor. He wrote this really long devotional that actually made me tear up, and it was just about the power and like what that means to give that ultimate sacrifice. I have brothers who served, and I know it wasn't an easy day for them too. So I definitely it's hard because when you have kids, you want it to be like this thing that we honor these people. But if you have this very close attachment to it, it can be a very upsetting thing because it brings back memories, and I get that too. Absolutely.
That's the hardest part, and you do want to enjoy your weekend and be a family together and everything, and kind of get together and like love each other and take, I don't know, like relax with that and remember that there's still people here that love you and everything. But always having that underlying factor in with it is always like very tender during those days.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah.
I want to say hello to Team here. He says, I had a new television delivered broken. Oh, that's cute. It was delivered broken. The glass was okay, but the membrane shattered. I looked at the box and there was an indentation on it. Those delivery guys. I mean, who knows if it was actually their fault, but sometimes you just watch. There's like videos, security camera videos of all these Amazon delivery guys, and you're like, why are you doing it? You have one job on this lousy ship, and it's to take care of people's packages. I actually have a crazy screen breaking story. So my sons are just as obsessed and dorky with Lord of the Rings as I am. So when my son was like 7 or 8, my oldest, he's now 12, he was watching Lord of the Rings in the living room, and he had a stick, and it was a battle scene, and he was like pretending like he's fighting. And the stick went into the screen, broke our TV, and it was fairly new, and it was like you cannot watch TV on it anymore. Like you couldn't.
Terrible.
Completely broke it. Yeah.
I completely understand though. Yeah, I can understand though, because who hasn't had a stick / lightsaber battle? Like you have those things in your house. I still play Nerf guns with my kid and stuff like that in the house. And stuff gets broken.
It absolutely does. He felt so bad. He actually ran to the basement stairs and like sat there and cried before he even told us, because he could not believe that he'd done that. And I was like, honey, it was a good scene. Like, I get why you were playing with the stick. It's okay. So
Jeremiah says it's an awesome Lord of the Rings 4D experience.
Oh, it was something. 40 for the wallet too. Oh my gosh. Because Randy and I, and anybody, you break your TV. You want it when you watch TV, you want to see a pretty image, right? So we immediately were like, hands down, no discussion, we're buying a new TV. Like, this just all there is to it. We'll find the money. We're not doing this. So yeah. All right, so I actually played a lot of games.
Yay!
I know. I'm actually going to talk about 3 today, so I'm trying to keep it short. Yeah.
Playing games weekend where you actually got to
was awesome.
Do what you wanted?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
And yesterday actually ended up being amazing in that way, because we had plans with family and all of it got canceled. Oh, so we ended up at this random parade, went swimming, came home, and just played board games outside for the rest of the day. So I got in.
That's so good.
I got in 3 board games over the course of 2 days, and it was just, I was like, I miss this. Because, by the way, our bathroom's not quite done.
Oh.
So there's still work to be done, but it just felt like the good old days when you didn't have a bathroom to work on. I'm like, what is this life? What is it? Look at
Back
what
when
battle
we
cry
used to be able to play games. That was amazing.
I miss those days. You shall not watch. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was horrifying. But anyways,
you
all right.
end up playing, yeah.
So I want to talk about the first game. This has been on our calendar to play for probably 4 months because a friend of ours is obsessed with Terraforming Mars, okay? So he kickstarted the big box. He's been waiting. He's like, when I get it in, can we do a big terraforming day? And I'm like, absolutely. So he finally got it in. I'm going to look it up because I want you guys to see. It's the big box, so it has all of the upgrade. I'm going to share my screen here if I can figure it out.
You have all the big tiles. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now.
So in case you guys don't know what Terraforming Mars is, who are you even? What is your life? What is your life? So these are the pieces. Look at that.
Yes. I know, right?
What?
I saw this come on Kickstarter and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes the game look so amazing. Why would you not want these when you're playing?
Why would you not? Why would you not? Why? Yeah. So I actually call this game the king of engine builders because in my mind, this game is like as engine buildy as you can possibly get. You're spending the entire game drafting cards, which is a very long process. And if you don't know what you're doing in this game, it takes a bazillion years because you're like, what does this even do? But you're building an engine the entire game. You're just building an engine so that you can raise heat, raise oxygen on Mars so that it's inhabitable. That's like the main point. So as soon as that oxygen is reached and the heat is up and all the lakes are put down, as you can see these little blue lakes here, then the game ends. But we played a 5-player game of this. And if you know anything about it, this game is already so long just because of like drafting, card reading, your turns. You can have 2 actions per turn, but you can keep going in a circle and a circle and a circle until you absolutely have nothing else you can do. So like sometimes your turns can just go on and on and on. So this played
so amazing.
It was amazing. So it took us let me think. We were down here for 5.5 hours downstairs playing this game.
5.5 hours?
5.5 hours at a 5-player game. It was, someone was like, oh my gosh, you're like just under like a TI4 game. I'm like, I know, but look at these.
Say that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, you're gonna play
totally.
TI4.
And I used to, and I don't love playing games that are that long. It's just like, I have a life to live, but it kind of makes me want to try a TI4. Like if I can do it, it kind of made me be like, I want to look a little bit more into just that really long experience. I want to, when I was like a semi-new gamer, look how pretty that is. Look at these little, these are the cities and they're like encapsulated with these little globes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then playing with them too, the tops of them actually come off. So one guy said that he put glue on it, but it was the wrong kind of glue. So he put the dome on top and it ended up like melding it and doing something really weird to the material. So if you're out there watching this and you want to glue them shut, first of all, just don't.
Okay, yeah.
Secondly, use the right kind of glue because I guess it can like really ruin those. So, anyway,
yeah, that's not good to hear.
It's an amazing game. We played with all the expansions, 5 players, 5.5 hours downstairs, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. Have you played this game, Gloryhoundd?
Yes, I have played this game. I love Terraforming Mars. I love the expansions and stuff. And when I saw this on Kickstarter, I totally wanted it. We did not end up backing it though. Because we're like, oh my gosh, where are we going to put all these games? But
yeah.
This I was so jealous of because I love games that do this sort of stuff. Like we have Giant Takanogo, which is just such a fun experience because the pieces are, they become like this toy feature to it, you know? You're like, oh my gosh,
totally.
It looks so amazing. And you build it up.
I love that.
Like, you know? It looks so amazing. But the fact that you spent 5 hours on it is serious business. Like you're ready. First off, you're ready for big games now. You're ready for like big giant long
I feel like I grew up
now.
a little bit. I was like, I'm a big kid now.
Yeah, you're ready for that.
It was amazing. Mm-hmm.
What did you do in between turns? Like, is there something that you specifically did?
Nathan said, between your turns in Terraforming Mars, you can make a sandwich or take a shower or get in a quick nap. That is so accurate. You know what I did? I took photos, I posted them, and I would talk to people about the game as I was playing it. And then, of course, we have 4 children, so they're all upstairs. So I would go up there and check on them, you know, get a snack. Everybody that comes here always, like, brings something to share. So I don't always love to sit there and play games for that long, at least one game anyway. It was the most relaxing experience. My soul needed that so bad, even just to sit and not move. So, like, even when I had nothing to do, I would just be like, staring at the board because it was just, I needed it. It was so relaxing. So I really didn't do a whole lot
This
of
is a
anything.
board you can stare at and be like, ooh, look at all these little features on here. So that's even better.
Gosh, absolutely.
Right?
So Chad here, this is my buddy. I haven't seen you in forever, Chad. Hi. He says you should definitely try TI4 or Western Civilization. Have you tried that one, Kat? Western Civilization?
I have not played Western Civilization. Yeah, I have not played that one. TI4 has been on my freaking bucket list forever. It's a matter of finding people to play. And I've tried to talk to Dr. Gloryhougdd into like getting me like TI4. I'm like, I just want the game and we will play it. But the doctor's not into super long games. Whereas me, like a really long game is the most satisfying game for me, especially in a strategic sort of game. And because then like all my little plans that I have here can all be put into motion. And then by the end, like I feel totally satisfied. Like everything was carried out, you know?
Yeah. So it's a good feeling. Yeah.
I know, right? I love those games so much.
Yeah. Me too. I think I can officially say me too.
Everybody will play with me, so.
Oh, dang it. I would play with you. Why don't you just move here, please?
Yes.
And also the other thing about this game, you guys, I got to tell you, there's a little backstory behind Terraforming Mars. It is the first, let me think. It's the first game that made me cry actual tears. That wasn't just because I was mad at Randy. That had nothing to do with it. This game made me cry. It made me cry, and I'm just gonna be honest about it. So I posted that, and I'm like, has anybody else cried at games? And actually, a lot of people were like, yeah, totally. I was so frustrated at like how dumb it made me feel. How it was too grand. I know. I was like, I'm a dumb human. It was so bad. Like it was, and actually I talked about it for days after. And my friend who's really obsessed with this game and like, he knows literally, you say a card, he knows exactly what it does. Like he was actually ranked like super high, like in the world, like online playing. He's amazing at it.
Yeah.
So he was like, Ellen, it's okay. He was like so encouraging. You just have to think of a strategy and think, how can the cards work together? He's like, let's just play open-handed. I'll teach you how to do it. And he's been so like helpful. Aww. So when we played this game on, I think it was Sunday, I got in third place, 1 point behind the second player.
Yeah,
so it felt so good. I loved it.
Isn't that the best whenever you get better at a game, like as you're playing it and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what the heck I was doing back, then, but now like I'm really getting it down. And that is, again, is another like super satisfying and rewarding thing when you're playing, right? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I never wanted to say that Terraforming Mars was, I always said I have a bad relationship with it, but it's me, not the game. It's me, not you. Because I knew it was awesome. Like, I'm like, I know this is a good game. I just can't figure it out. I suck at it, so I just don't want to play. But fighting through that and just playing it a ton, I think I'm in love.
Aww.
I'm just gonna say it. I really think about it a lot now, and I'm like, I want to try that again. So Chrissy here, she's my bosom friend. I love Chrissy. She says, I felt like the turns went by surprisingly fast. She was one of the players here. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because of that, because we've all played it so many times. Well, actually, no, it was Chrissy's first time. But all the rest of us had played a lot. So like we kind of knew what was kind of like what to look for, I guess.
Right.
So let's see here. Somebody asks who won Terraforming Mars. So it was actually Patrick, my friend Patrick, and he's the one who's obsessed with this game. And then his friend that he brought got in second place. I was third. Wait, does that mean Randy got in last place? Oh.
You just came to the realization, you're like, he totally lost.
Oh my gosh! Wait, Chrissy, if you're still out there, did Randy lose? Oh, my mind is about to be blown right now.
Right?
That would be incredible. Let's see. She said I played the base game. Oh, this is somebody else. Let's see. FYI, Brandon and I have played a lot of Terraforming Mars during the pandemic and would play with you anytime. It's Chad again. You know what? Chad, you're on. And I think I'm gonna be able to be competitive this time because I think I know what I'm doing. And it's just so good. Randy says, I got first? You got first place, babe? I thought Patrick did. Oh, dang it. I was about to be so excited. That's okay. I guess Randy got first. All right, cool. Anyways, what did you play this week, Kat? What'd you play?
Well, let's see here. Let me take a look. Okay, so I played Adventure Tactics. Have you heard of Adventure Tactics before?
I do not think so. It does not sound familiar.
Okay. Adventure Tactics kind of reminds me a little bit of like an Arcadia Quest style of game where you get to play as a character or fantasy-based character and you're traveling through this world. It has a little scenario booklet, so you have a story that you're going through, and it is a deck building game.
Okay, is this right?
And yeah, absolutely. And in this deck building game, you build a deck by leveling up your class. So you can start as an archer, but eventually you can become a ranger, or you can mix classes to become like a crazy class at the end. I wish I like wrote down all of the different classes that they have, because the different combinations of classes that you can level up and play as is freaking amazing. You become a cleric and an archer, and you squish them together, and you get the cards for the cleric and the archer, and then you build this new combination of classes. But you're going through, and you're on a little plane here, and you're basically fighting off bad guys and everything. It's very much a super cute adventure style game. It has little miniatures in it. It was so stinking cute. Like, so
those
stinking
characters
cute,
are adorable. I just saw somebody post about this, and they're like, cannot get enough of the look of this game. That is really cute.
Yeah. So I play a lot of these type of games where you're basically, it's like a dungeon crawl, and then you have like a story based on the campaign. I would say that if you were ever interested in playing a game like this, this would be the number one place to start at, because it was so easy to get into and so much fun. Like the leveling up was really easy and self-contained, you know? So like when you picked a class, you just got those cards for it, and it didn't turn into, oh, what do I have to decide for this? What do I have to decide for that? Oh, what do I should get for this? What I should put these points into? No, it was just, okay, do you want to still be an archer, or do you want to try to be something else? And then you just pick that thing, and then it gives you the stuff, you know?
That's
you can
so
still
cool.
Get equipment for your characters and stuff. All of the icons on here are really easy to read. For your movement, it's the little booties. For your range, it's the little range thing, you know. For your dice that you're rolling, it's the little dice on there. Yeah, so all the icons are super perfect and easy to understand. You're just able to really get into this really, really simple, really, really easy. Like, it was.
Would you say it's like,
so nice.
Is it a lightweight game? I mean, when I look at it, I don't think kids game necessarily, but I think it caters to like maybe new gamers / older kids.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. And that's why I'm thinking that if you ever wanted to play a game like this, this is a fantastic place to start, because you get the story, you get a lot of the beginning mechanics in movement and how range works and stuff like that. So you get these beginning ideas that translate directly over to other scenario-based large games like this, that you could just directly translate those over and go, oh, I already know how to do half of these things, you know, and then here's the XYZ extra rules in this bigger game. So this is a fantastic place to start. And I would actually teach any kid this game, because it was so easy to understand with the icons and everything, you know? It's like,
that's awesome. And that's something that
1, 2, 3.
I feel like the icon stuff, it's so easy for a kid or even a new gamer. I don't know why I keep saying kid, a new gamer, because me, for sure, to get so discouraged when you just see a bunch of tiny little icons and you're like, it feels impossible to like memorize what they all mean. But the fact that this one is just like leans toward just being super simple is awesome.
And that was so nice. And you just draw up your cards, and you're like, here's the actions that I can do. And you play a card, and you get your 2 actions. So you play your 2 cards, and then like that's your turn. So it becomes
so cool.
Yeah, it becomes this really simple, like, to get into experience where you still get the story and you get all these satisfying adventure sort of adventure tactics and stuff.
Yeah, like you get these adventures and these tactics,
and then you put them together. It's amazing.
I feel like I should know what this game should be called.
Right?
You know what I'm finding out too? I love games more and more that give you like a tiny little window, like here's what you have, make the best of it. I kind of love that sometimes, when you want to take away the grandness and like, oh, I have to think of every single scenario and this will affect that. I really appreciate games sometimes when I need to just mentally chill, that are like, nope, these are your options, choose your best thing. Maybe you can manipulate it a little bit, but that's really cool. I love that. I'm always looking for games for my kids to love, and they don't love any. I'm already looking at this one and being like, should I buy it? Should I buy this?
You know what? I know that
I don't know.
My kid has been introduced to a lot of these type of games as well. And just because of the look of the game and the ease of choice and stuff like this was like a home run for my kid because they're like, oh, I already know how to do these things. Like the characters are really cute. And then the leveling up was so much fun. And then plus with the bosses, a lot of times in these games, the boss movement can get very complicated because you're like, oh, this person has to move over here. This is happening over here. This is one boss deck, and it controls everybody there. So you flip a card, you read what the card does, and you go, oh, okay, it does these things. And then they just usually attack like the closest person. So
is this not cooperative, right?
It is cooperative.
Oh, it is cooperative. Oh,
it is cooperative. Yeah.
Okay.
So all of you were there, and you're all trying to work together for this. And it was just a very simple process to be able to carry out and still have the same sort of fun that you have in these larger dungeon crawling style games, you know, like it was really fun.
Beyond Dead 13, which hello, by the way, says, I feel you, Ellen. I picked up Zombie Kids Evolution like a month ago and can't get my 7-year-old to play it with me. I think that is just the saddest thing, how much money and time, blood, sweat, and tears we dump into like trying to get our kids to play. And sometimes you'll hit that game that's like, yes, that like the Castle Panic moment that we had last week. The kids loved that. That was awesome, but I wish it would happen more. And as you're describing adventure, is it Adventure Tactics?
Adventure Tactics, yeah.
Okay. As you're describing that, like it doesn't sound the same, but the simplicity reminded me of the Hogwarts battle game.
Yeah.
How it's cooperative and the simplicity of that. I wish my kids love Harry Potter. They watch it all the time. And I wish they would get more into that one because it is also super simple. The iconography is like the simplest thing ever. And I'm like, why will they not play this? So I love that your kid loved this one. It makes me want to try it out for mine. They just don't love to game, and it's so upsetting.
It was fun. And, you know, in the scenarios, maybe the scenarios too help sell it in the fact that you still have to make choices. You know, if something's happening, it's like, oh, choose A or B option. Or, you know, if you fight off all the other little bad guys first and get, you know, then the big bad guy, then you get a different reward. Like there's different stuff happening during the campaign. They get to kind of make those choices as they go along. I always feel like the more choices that a kid can make in a game, like the better it is for them, you know, because kids and a lot of times as they don't get as many choices, you know, usually you're like, go get I'm always like, get out of your flip-flops and go put on regular shoes. What is wrong with you? You know, like we're always telling them to do all these things, but in a game, if they get to pick all the things they want to do, it makes them feel like they have more control. So like, I think that they enjoy that more.
Hi, Dutch Yoda. How you doing? So I keep seeing the word chai in our chat, and I'm like, why's that talking about chai? First of all, chai sounds delicious right now. I would love one. But I think because everyone's like, oh, your video of today's stream says chai on it. So Randy's like, I just fixed that. So thanks, babe. Thanks for doing that, babe.
Well, I also love chai, so.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling. We used to go to this little, like, this was when Randy and I were just friends / I didn't like him that much. We would go to this little bistro and get this raspberry chai, and I'd always have her, I think I told you, just put 30 pumps of chai in that raspberry, and I would make it like a sugar explosion. And I kind of miss that drink. I kind of miss that.
Sounds like a stomach ache, though. You're like,
yeah. But it was worth it.
Have this one drink, and it's going to be like eating 10 ice creams.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was a little bit intense. Legends DM says the scenarios are good for adventure tactics, but the game is a little bit pricey.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the price. I know that you can. I feel like it's old enough that you could probably find it for a deal somewhere because it was on Kickstarter. I want to say, I don't know.
You're answering right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Little do you know, you're answering this. Adventure Tactics has an expansion. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I was going to ask if it had expansions coming out.
Yep.
Very cool.
Well, that was the big thing is we got the expansion in, so I'm like, all right, I gotta replay this game and everything.
Yeah.
Get in there and see what all the new expansion's all about and everything. Yeah. It was super adorable. I was like, oh, it's so cute. This new expansion, all this stuff. Oh.
That's actually a perfect segue into the next game that I'm going to talk about. Ooh. Because we played this game yesterday, the base game, in lieu of tonight's live stream where we bring in the expansion. So, and the game that I'm talking about We are playing this live tonight, by the way, 7:30, with the designer Stan Kordonsky. And it is Lockup.
Oh, I knew it. I was like so excited. I was like, oh, please let it be Lockup. Please let it be Lockup.
What do you think? Okay, because you're all about like monsters and death and what have you. What do you think of the monsters in this game? Like, what do you think of them?
They're adorable.
I gotta get your opinion.
They're adorable.
Aren't they cool looking? They're so like different. They're like ugly and cute.
Right. For them being like these bad, like prison bad guys and everything. I'm like, oh, look at them.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're really cool. And actually, what I love about this game too is the first time he put the board out, I hadn't really seen too many games that were like, it's not perfectly a bird's eye view. It's like at a slant, so you're kind of seeing like into rooms. Yeah. So it, like the board game Clue, how there's like separate rooms and all that. It's kind of like that, but everything's at a tilt, so you're looking down into this like cavernous like jail house.
It makes them way more interesting. Yeah,
totally. I thought it was really cool. Mm-hmm. So we played it yesterday, and I have to be honest with you guys because I always want to be honest with my viewers. We set it up. Forgot what I was doing. I forgot how to play. I was getting so frustrated. This is so bad. Stan, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I think you're awesome. I love your games. We put the game away before we finished it.
Oh, you got frustrated.
I put it away. I got frustrated because Randy was so destroying me and like already was like doing all these things and I literally had nothing. And then the last blow was I finally got a power. Randy, if you're in here. I finally got a power token and he goes, well, I guess now as good as time as any. And he pulls this card out that takes a power away from me. It was a moment.
A murderable offense, I hope he knows.
Murder.
If you're that far behind, you don't pull out a card like that. You give the other player some respect, okay?
Right. That's what it felt like. No respect.
You wait until the very end, and just to make sure if they even start getting a little close, then you use it, and you just hold on to it for a little bit.
It was so bad.
Damage the morale when it's already down.
I just want to show this comment right here. I just want to show this. This is Randy laughing. Randy's sleeping in the newly renovated bathroom. That bathroom's probably better than our bedroom now.
Well, this is a good question, too. So, like, if you're super ahead of somebody in a game, do you take it easy on them? Or do you just, like blow them out of the water and then, like, kick them while they're down and, like, roll them off the ship? Yeah. Like, what do you do?
Kick them while they're down.
Yeah. I want to know what
I love that our chat's like, kill them. Like, why are we talking about this?
Throw them off the boat.
Look at this guy says, wow, just wow, Randy. Did you laugh maniacally as well?
Right.
He did not laugh because I was like, I literally didn't even, usually I get mad and I'm like, are you serious? But I just stared at him. I was like, so yeah, we put it away, son. We put Randy's it away.
Like, lucky that he's still alive, so congratulations, Randy. She must really love you a lot.
Yeah. When I took those wedding vows, I did not know about board games. Look at this. Panic says, I usually pull back because I'm not a monster.
Right.
What are you trying to say to us? We are monsters, yeah. Okay, but anyways, I should probably tell you what this game even is. So in this game, you have 6 tokens that are your color, and they have monsters on them. It's like you're this tribe of monsters, I guess. And it's a kind of a bluffing game. So you're taking these tokens with numbers on them, which are like mean the power that they are, and you're placing them on the map one by one. You may only have 3 tokens face down, and the other 3 have to be face up. So you have to strategically decide what to let the other player know, what you're willing for them to see, I guess. And the bluffing comes in when you decide, like, I'm going to show them this number, like a 3. I think it only goes up to a 5, but then there's a power card, which is the amount of, like, power cubes that you store up into your little, like, space. So, like, at one point, I had 3 power cubes. So then my fist tile equaled 3. So that's how that works. So it's really difficult trying to like psych out the other player. And actually, I don't tend to love games that do this because I cannot read Randy at all.
Oh,
I can't.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And so when I'm trying to bluff, like I'm not a good bluffer, and also I can't read people. So it's just not a great combo for me.
Okay.
But you put these tiles out when everything's placed, you flip up and you see who won in those different areas of the room. Depending on who got first or second place, you get, abilities like trade in 1 cube for like a different color, or trade in 4 cubes to buy a monster off the board. You can do set collection with those cards. So, I mean, there's a lot going on in just this cute little game. It plays pretty quick, actually. There's a 2 and a 3 player side. Let's see, 1 and 2 player side. No, you don't do solo. What am I talking about? 2 to 3, and then up to 5 players, I think. Oh, look at Randy saying that right now. Here you go. Here you go, guys.
There we go.
That's what it is.
There we go.
Yeah, 3 to 2 player and 2 and a 3 to 5 player. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's a really cool little game. And the expansion, we're actually going to be playing that live tonight. So I have not tried it yet, but the little board that comes with it is so cute and little. I mean, it's a prototype, but it just flips open like that. Yeah. And it's like another little tiny little rooms. Yeah, it's pretty cute.
The expansion, is it the Prison Break expansion? What's the expansion? Prison Break?
Oh,
okay.
Geez. Hi. Hello.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
I literally have it next to me.
I'm excited to know more about it.
I'm sure Stan loves that I'm like talking this up. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I feel like
wow,
the Prison
thanks.
Break is a perfect addition to it, because you're in there and you're trying to like gain your power and in there and stuff and get all beefy, and then now you got to break out. So I'm curious to see how all that operates together now.
I did see that somebody in the comments when I posted it yesterday said it seems like it's a little bit too long for what it is. I can see what they're saying, actually, but I think this expansion is going to, I don't know that it needs to be fixed, but I think it's going to contribute to it being a little beefier.
Okay.
And adding more decisions and things like that into the kind of game that it is. Because, it kind of is simple. Like, you put the tiles out, you take turns flipping them, you get your thing. Like, that's literally what it is. So this, though, has like a sideboard, and you got to get out of the prison with your stuff. So it should be really cool.
That'll be really interesting. I'm excited to see that portion of it. And you're playing it tonight?
Yeah. We're playing it tonight, 7:30, live with the designer down here in the basement. Yeah,
with
and I don't know how we're going to... Yes, Stan Kodonsky. I love saying his name every time I see him. I'm like, Stan Kodonsky. And I call him Stan the Man, and I'm like, I bet no one ever does that. And he's like, no.
No.
He loves coming over here. Yeah, so he'll be here tonight. And I don't know how we're going to sit us around the table. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a tight squeeze, but it's going to be awesome. So come and hang out if you want to see what this expansion's all about. I'm excited to try it.
It seems simple until someone spends multiple rounds in the gym getting buff kobolds. Right?
Yeah.
Then you're like, ooh, we don't want these kobold candles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's a great game. Check it out. I'm excited to try it, and just to hang out too with Stan. It's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna have a good time.
That's super awesome.
Did you play anything else this week?
Yes, I did. We played Santorini, New York. So, have you played Santorini or Santorini?
Yes, I have.
Okay, both of them.
Just the first one. Just Santorini.
Just Santorini. Mm-hmm. Okay. Santorini, New York is a game that, whenever I saw it come out, like I love the original Santorini. And whenever I saw New York come out, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I'm really excited to play this. It seems like I love the buildings. I love that it's in New York and everything. It looks amazing. But, like, is it going to be the same game? You know? Like, I was worried that it was going to be the same game. Because sometimes companies will print these things and you're like, oh, okay, this is like an upgrade. Maybe the rules change a little bit. But, like, that's about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
First off, I freaking love this game so much. Okay. I love Santorini.
I can feel the passion in your voice. You had to brace yourself for that. You're like,
hold on.
I'm going to say something.
Deep breath in, and then I'm
going to be serious.
Myself. Yeah.
I'm about to express myself. You better watch out.
The way that you utilize these cards right here. So whenever you place down a card, the number up in the top corner shows if you're going to go first or last, and then the type of card, I believe it is, then gets to resolve in a certain way. And the way it is that, like, if you're basically trying to win the game, you have to use a card to make it. So like the majority of other players are going to go first, unless you're like really, really tricky with your timing and you can eke things out in the right way, or maybe somebody doesn't notice. So that adds like a whole different layer to the game, and not just like moving pieces around and stuff. Oh, look at that fantastic
Who's
Liberty.
that
I don't know. They're all blurred out. I don't know who that is.
I see a black nail and pink hair. I know who that
is. But also this one here, I feel like plays better. Well, it has, what is it? It goes up to 4 players, I think. I think it goes up to 4 players, maybe.
Isn't the other one only a 2-player game?
Yes. The other one is like only 2-player, I believe, you know? So like being able to play with more players and everything was wonderful. And I just...
Yeah.
It's almost like they took Santorini and they're like, let's make this game better. And then they made it just better. Like, and sadly to say, like, I will be getting rid of my other Santorini because I love New York so much more. All the mechanics, and it's still a very easy game to get into while also being very strategic to play. So, like, the original can be 4-player as well. I remember there was like maybe some makering or something like that in the original Santorini. There was something weird going on. I still loved the game because I loved building up everything. It was so much fun. And I love that like abstract placement of things where you have to, okay, I'm going to place over here. Then I'm going to move my character over here. And then I got to move this character over here. And it was so much fun. But in this one, I feel like they just resolved all the like tiny little issues that they may have had in the game. And they just made the game so much better. Because with the previous one, I feel like you had to add expansions and all sorts of stuff to make it like a full solid game, you know? Like,
sure, absolutely. I played the rawest, most base, just Santorini, and I was very unimpressed. The potential was awesome. I love jumping up and down the buildings and just trying to figure out who needs to go where when. It's like chess, but on buildings. Like, it's very cool. It's very cool. It's like chess, but you're skydiving. So
and that's exactly why I loved the original game. And this just took it up one level with the cards and being able to play the cards and knowing that you have to do your movement at a certain time and holding back certain cards in your hand. Okay, I'm going to hold these high cards, so hopefully I can move at just the right times and stuff. So that just improved the game so much. Like, it was so good.
That's awesome. Because I do think it needed that. So now let's see. Randy says it plays 4 players, but then he says teams. So is this game, it's just 2 against 2 then? Is that what's happening?
No. I think whenever you play this game, I think you can play it 4 players, but everybody plays their individual people. Like, you're not sharing pieces or anything like that. Everybody has 2 pieces on that.
I like the sound of not sharing. That sounds great.
I don't like sharing. I don't want to share my turns with people. I don't want to be like, you're going to move that over there? Are you sure you want to move that over there?
Caring, not in board games. I played this game with my niece, who is 13, I think. She is the sassiest little stink butt. When I was playing her, she was destroying me. Like, I don't know. She was destroying me. And every time she did, she's like, ha, I won again. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you little sass pants. But she really got to know like how to use those God cards, and you have to be strategic with your timing on them. That's everything. And I'm very excited about this because I do feel like the base of Santorini is just too... Now, is the God cards an expansion, or is that just part of the base?
No, I think the God cards was an expansion for that, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Because she had those and we played them, and once I was playing with those, that's when it felt like, okay, we're cooking, like we're doing something, and there's some strategy here.
And I always felt like that with the original Santorini, but with this one, everything's built in there so perfectly, and I just really, really loved it so much.
That's awesome.
It was one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, this one just outdoes the other one so much better.
I hear you.
God cards were part of the base game. Really?
Okay.
I don't remember playing with them with the base. My bad.
I remember using them, but I think that it was very like...
Didn't they have...
I was just underwhelmed a little bit. Until we started going through more of the God cards and trying to get to know them and what they do. And actually, the cards can interact really interestingly with one another, with the opponent, just depending on what they do. So sometimes you get like a really good combination that like, oh, this God works really good with this God, just in like combat ways. So I would like to try the New York one because the Santorini, I think we sold it because I was like,
I ended up getting rid of it too, and just this one was just so much better. And the choices between the choices on the board and the choices of the cards in your hand made it easy to play, but incredibly challenging to try to master what you were going to do. And you really had to think about what you were going to hold back so you could play those at the right time for your opponent and what you needed to do for those. So all the cards had special abilities on them too. So certain class of cards had special abilities, which was interesting during the game as well. So I had so much fun with this game, and it looks so amazing, and it has a bunch of different the little New York buildings in them. So it has a bunch of different buildings.
Yeah, that is so cute. Yeah. Plus the little people there. Do you know, did you ever play with Polly Pockets when you were a kid?
Yes.
Yes. Doesn't it totally remind you? Oh my gosh, they're so freaking cute. I love that they were like this little, and they would hinge at the hips, so their little hands came out, and they'd be like, right, like you'd pivot their bodies like that.
They could just sit like that, and then you're like, oh
yay! Which ones did you have? Do you remember which ones you had?
I think, wasn't there one of them that was in a heart shape or something like that?
Yes,
I don't know.
There was a pink heart.
Yeah, I remember the
purple
pink heart
seashell.
One. I didn't have the seashell one. I don't think I had that one.
And there was a yellow star.
Okay, I think the star one. I think I had that one too.
I think there was a moon one also. But yeah, my sister and I had them. And those things,
so adorable.
Literally, they fit in your pocket, and it was a whole little adventure world. And I just...
That was the best thing ever, to be able to carry something so small around with you and then be able to play with it anywhere. That was the greatest kid idea ever, except for, I guess, taking hazard issue.
Well, except
you had to be old enough to play, though.
Yeah, you did. And there's Polly Pocket makes a bunch of new stuff now, but it's nowhere near as cute as it was. It's not. They're this big now, and it's just no.
Did you ever set them down and then you built outside other yards and all sorts of stuff outside their stuff? Yeah. So it's you set it down, then you make this whole other area there.
Yes, it's so cute. Did you ever take them outside and prop them up in the grass and make yards? You make little tree forts, take little sticks and make little teepees and put them in there, and
right, you would do all sorts of stuff because they were so tiny. You could do everything with them. They were so
tiny. I love it so much. Okay, this next game that I'm going to talk about that I played yesterday, you were going to be excited about this one because the last time we talked about it, I was not into it, and now I'm I think I'm in love.
I know what this is.
This has been a great day to talk about the things that I didn't love, and now I do. Yes. It was Terraforming Mars. Now I love it. Let me pull it up on the screen here. I think you know what it is because I tagged you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Railroading. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story about this. Yesterday, after Randy and I put Lockup away because I was ticked. Okay. There was no way I was coming back. It wasn't even a competition. I was so mad. I went inside, and I was like, you know what, though? I still want to hang out with Randy, and I still want to play a game. I'm going to find something else to play. And I'm like, okay, Kat showed me all those expansions. They look amazing. I'm going to grab Railroading, go outside, and just try it again. And it was awesome. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me?
I'm so glad you loved it.
I do love it. I love it so much. So in this game, it's a roll and draw. So you roll these. I'm going to try to find a picture. Okay, here's a picture of your little individual board with your marker. You roll these die, and the die have railroads on them, railroad pieces. They have road pieces. They have these funky little ones right here where you have little, I forget what they're called, not pit stops, but a break in the middle.
Connections or something.
Yeah, right? Connections, exactly. Yeah. So it can turn, right here's a good example. It can turn from a road into a railroad, and you are strategically placing them together to make all these connections, these green arrows here throughout the board. And you have to pick where you're drawing these things, which I just love the creativeness of just being able I'm going to make whatever map that I want with this stuff that's given to me. Yep. Throughout the game, you're able to use these specials here at the top, and they are power moves. So you want to be careful when you use them, because I think in a 2-player game, I know you can only use 2 or 3 out of the 6 in a game, and only once per round. So you only want to use them really when you're in a jam to connect railroads and roads that like there's just no way they're going to come together. You can squeeze one of these in there, make them connect. At the end of the game, you go through this little scoring chart here, and you go thing by thing. So like this is your longest road, this is your longest railroad. At the end, whoever has the most wins. It's amazing. But what's so cool is we have the red one. What's the red one even called? I can't remember now. It's like red
the
hot
burning something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I know it's like the spicy volcano one.
Yeah. Spicy volcano.
The spicy volcano series.
Spicy volcano series. It's delicious. We have these lava chunks here, and you got to place them on your board. No, here. Okay, Gloryhound. This is what Randy and I have been doing wrong, though. And we didn't realize. When you roll it, you have to put at least one of the lava pieces in, but you don't have to put both of them in.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Oh my gosh. There was so much lava.
You may.
You may. But we've been playing that way for years. And so I would be like, how is this even possible? And I think that might have been some of my frustration with the game is like, how can anyone survive in this world? It was just all lava. So once we figured that out yesterday, we're like,
do you also do the thing where it's like if you have like two lava pieces that are close together, they basically branch that gap in between. It creates like a lava thing. So you have to be really careful not placing them too close together if you have two corners that match and then like a space in the middle.
I don't know because from what I know is your lava always has to touch lava. You can't just put lava out unless it's a new volcano.
Oh, so okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Maybe I'm thinking of the lake one then. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you have a ton of expansions. So like there are so many. It's such a simple game, but it's so different every time because of how you're like what you roll. Those are your roads that you have. And then the expansions just make it really tricky. I love it.
Blazing red and deep blue. And there we go.
Those are the two we have. Yeah. He said it was just the one time I remember playing correctly. Okay. Well, yesterday we had a lot of lava on our maps. And I'm like, how do you even do this? How do you? And then Randy's like, wait, you may put both out there.
Yes, you may.
Like,
and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. It is so cute. It is so satisfying to roll those die and then use your creativity and just the connections to make an awesome map. Yeah. And I love it. So thank you for reinvigorating my love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the perfect, just that creativity that it takes to like link everything together is so much fun. And seeing how everybody interpreted those same exact dice every single round is so much fun to look at because everybody uses things in such different ways, and it's so much fun to see. Oh, what does your map look like at the end? And go, oh, look at this is what my map looks like, and oh, look at this is over here. Like it's so much fun just looking at those, man. Yeah,
and I think it's cool too. I like how you obviously you keep track of what round you're on by those little squares in the upper corner. You write the 1 round, 2 rounds, so you can really look at like what you placed when. It's just helpful to know that. So I love that too. I feel like it is such a clever little game. It's so well produced. I love the boxes that come in with the little magnetized hinges. Like what? It's so cute. So I want to play more of this.
I'm so happy that you went back and played that game and that you ended up loving it because I always tell people, I'm like, oh, it's such a satisfying, it's so much fun, it's so easy to get into. And I hear from like a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, I didn't like it because, you know, people are always nervous about their drawings on it. I'm like, you're just like, don't be concerned about your drawing. It's okay. It's okay. We're not making like a piece of art here, okay? We're just putting stuff down.
This is not Van Gogh.
Yeah.
It's a game. Right. You're using a Sharpie.
Like you don't have to worry about that stuff. Like just get it down there, and it's really interesting. It's a fun puzzle. It's a puzzly game.
That's funny. I've heard that said a lot. Is people do get really concerned about the drawing. I find that hilarious. Panic says it must be perfect.
Yes, right.
People really do go into it with this mentality, and I think it's intimidating. I think that intimidates a lot of people. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I can't draw. It's like it's not about the drawing though.
It's not. It's not about the drawing. But to be fair, my drawings are perfect. Okay, so as I'm drawing it, I know exactly. I'm like, there's 7 lines on every railroad. That's a straight line. If it's split, okay, then it's exactly 3 lines, and then you have your little box here
Oh
for your
my
railroad. So I'm
gosh.
like, and okay, whenever you're going down your roads, it's exactly 4 little roads. Well, it's
Do you
2 halves
draw
and 2
little
regulars.
tiny lines?
I
Like, do you
do.
draw the little tiny?
I
Oh,
do.
so I just make dots. I'm just like da 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 down the road. I'm
No, I'm
definitely.
all
Oh, my board's dirty and
super,
messy.
super perfect about it. I'm like, exactly 4.5 lines in my road on a straight path. Like,
Sometimes it takes long enough for you to figure out the puzzle that you can sit there and draw it
yeah,
really nice,
you can
like
draw.
make it really pretty.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you draw your volcanoes? Because I was just like,
I make mine all
super junky.
fancy. I'll make my volcanoes. I'll make little trees next to it.
Oh my gosh! I was like, here's a mountain and stuff's coming out. Mine is messy, and you gotta be careful because if you don't like, here I am going. You don't have to worry about your drawing, but if you draw it really sloppily though too, it's kind of hard to be like, wait, what was this? So you kind of gotta be
You want
careful.
to make it legible.
Yeah,
Legible
make it
volcano.
legible. I feel like they should have finer tip, like dry erase
Yes.
markers for it.
Yes.
They're too beefy, and they're tiny, but they're too beefy.
I use a specific type of wet erase marker. I'll have to look it up. I can't remember the name of them. But yeah, I use a special type of wet erase marker, and they come in different colors. So my maps are always like colored. So I do all my railroads in one color and all my highways in another color.
Really?
And then I'll do my lava in another color. Yeah, as I'm going along. But they have super fine tips, so I can go through and do all that. Because
you can get away. Yeah, no wonder you have trees next to your volcanoes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How can you? Because the markers
How did you just squeeze them in there?
Yeah.
It's just a blob.
Like blobs. Yeah. But you know what? That's cool that you use different colors and things because then it becomes a relaxing experience. And I will say I was epitome of relaxed yesterday.
Strangely, I found all these markers and which one it was. So this is Lumacolor non-permanent. It's the Stadler markers here.
Okay.
Like this. And the tips on these are super fine. You're
awesome.
Like they're super, super fine. So whenever you draw on something, it's basically like using a pen whenever you're drawing. You like make a mark.
Randy, if you're in the chat, buy those, please.
Yeah.
Randy, let's get the expansions and new pens. I'm into
and
it.
They come in your rainbow of colors here. Let me grab them all up here. There we go. So like, yeah, you get your rainbow of colors that you can go ahead and use in a pack. And I bought one of these and they're still usable. I refreshed them like the other day and like they still work perfectly fine. So yeah, these, and since they're wet erase, when you can like move your hand over things and like they don't smudge or anything like that. Like it's super nice. So as you're going back through and coloring things in and everything and drawing things, they dry super fast, and then you don't have to worry about smudging your entire thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Because a couple times when I was holding my board, I didn't realize my hand was like resting slightly on it. So I was starting to kind of erase the side. So you do have to be like, with the markers that come with the game, you have to be very like on top of it and use just the tip of the marker. It's kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is what I use for all of my roll and write stuff. And actually, it was Suzanne that suggested these. And I'm like, oh, this is the best thing I could have gotten if you're into roll and writes. Like, this is the best thing you could ever get. This little pack right here. It's amazing.
Right. I told Randy to buy it. He says, LOL, okay.
It's on Amazon right now.
I definitely go right now. Subscribe and save. I'm going to use them so much. I'm going to play that game so much. We're going to need more. So did you play anything else that you want to wrap up our segment with, or is that pretty much what you wanted to talk about?
I think I know I have a lot of games this week to play. I've been making videos, so I haven't been able to play as many games.
Randy says done. Yeah.
There we go.
So I'll be posting more Railroad Ink and tagging you. How's that sound?
I'm so excited. And you know what? So I do the swipe and play. You should go back and try some of my swipe and plays on my Instagram because I have the dice there. And you can play along with some of those expansions, the new expansions, and use those dice that I have on there, which is super simple.
That's awesome.
And then you can play your own little game there. And then we can be like, oh, here's my map and there's your map, and it'll be so much fun.
I remember you telling me about that when we talked about Railroad Ink the last time. So I'm gonna definitely have to check that out. I'm so into it. It's the epitome of like relaxing game. Loved it. I'm so glad I gave it a second chance. Yeah.
And that's the one game that I'll just play alone anytime. Just Leave me alone. I just
Oh,
want
that's
to play
such a
barrel
good
loading.
idea.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can play it yourself. Like, oh, man.
And it's relaxing.
I'm going to
You
do
can take
that.
your time drawing everything out and stuff. And, like,
No
really
wonder
thinking
yours
about it.
literally
Yeah.
looks like a piece of art after because you just solo it and you get your little
I
colors in there,
do,
make it
right?
beautiful. I love it. That's so great. I love that. All right. We are probably going to snap it up here. Where can people find you this week? What are you going to be talking about? What's your schedule looking like?
Okay, so what are we going to do? Okay, yeah, we're doing Adventure Tactics this evening, actually.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Expansion to that. But later we're going to play Maximum Apocalypse. Such a fun game. Actually,
another
those
one
two
I've
games
not heard of
go together because they're both like scenario sort of based adventure games, but one's about like an apocalypse and the end of the world, which is very grown up, and the other one's like about cutesy, like battling monsters and stuff. So you have like
they both sound awesome.
Yeah, you have like your family version, and then you have like your apocalyptic version on
I love
Thursday.
Apocalyptic stuff.
So we're playing both of those this week, and we have our Kickstarter show, and of course, we're gonna have you on our channel next week. So
absolutely,
you all can check out
super excited.
Gloryhoundd with 2ds.com and hang out on our YouTube, you know, subscribe to that and everything, and then hang out with us next week. So it'll be so much fun.
I'm super excited. And I've mentioned this before, but we've talked about having some guests on the show. So we already have some people lined up. So keep an eye out for that. I will definitely be posting ahead of time so you can set your notifications. And I'll bring them on the show and we'll talk about random stuff.
I love talking about random stuff. Yeah.
I know, it's the best.
I mean,
like
games too, but random stuff is also good.
Random stuff is awesome. Polly Pockets are the best.
Right?
All right, everybody. What's that?
Oh, I was like, oh, there was somebody on there that's like, oh my gosh, there's so many Polly Pocket things. There's like a whole site devoted to it. I was like, yes, there is. There is.
Yeah, there is. Oh my goodness. Those were like the absolute cutest little things. And when I get together, we'll like do a sleepover with all my friends. We'd all bring our little, you know, and we would make this whole town, this whole big town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
So cute. Do you remember the zoo one? I loved that. There were little tiny pandas that were seriously like tiny little pandas. I'm
gonna have to go back and look at that one. It's so adorable.
It's so sad. It's so sad that I don't have them anymore. I need to. I'm gonna go on Facebook Marketplace today and see if there's any weird random floating Polly Pockets out there.
eBay,
I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah.
And I'll just have them for the heck of it, for nostalgia. Maybe I'll put them in my new bathroom as decoration.
There you go.
I love it. All right, guys, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Tuesday on, which way am I pointing? This way. Gloryhoundd's channel. Yeah, don't forget to join us live tonight for this thing. Lockup breakout.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Bye, guys.